Hi everyone, this is Seikster, and welcome to another chess video. I'm a little sick right now, so excuse my voice if it comes off as raspy. So today's game is a 15-minute game I played today. It's the first time I played 15 minutes in about a week or two. For the past couple weeks I've been playing Blitz 5-minute games, and, well, I realized that the quality of my games wasn't as good as it used to be, naturally. So I decided to come back to the 15-minute, 30-minute, 60-minute standard time games, so that I can play more accurately, have better quality in my games, and overall get more out of my games than I would in other time controls. So today's theme will be caution in accepting gambits. In this game, I accepted a gambit and was, well, severely punished for it later. So, I'm an 1800 in the 15-minute chess on ICC, and my opponent was 1700. Well, I kind of bounced between 1750 and 1800. So anyway, we'll start the game. He played e4, and usually my response is French defense. Sometimes I play c5, the Sicilian, but there's a lot of theory behind the Sicilian, and, well, I'm very comfortable with the French defense. I've read a lot on it. And I play bishop b4, introducing the winnower variation. Very sharp, very tactical game in the French defense, and both sides really should know what they're doing. He avoids the main line, which, as a French player, I agree with. When people play the French winnower and I play as white, I really try to avoid main line, and this is one of the many obscure lines in the French winnower variation. So I was very happy to see this, especially because I had just played a game as white, and I played this variation just the game before, so I was fully prepared to take on this variation. So white seemingly gambits the e4 pawn, but usually he ends up getting it back, and he kicks my bishop, take, and see, the main point of this knight e2 is to avoid the double pawns. See, without the knight e2, when bishop takes, I cause permanent structural damage to white's position at the cost of the bishop pair. So white avoids structural damage to his pawn structure. And, well, I offered to give him back his pawn, although I believe taking the pawn in this position isn't so good. Well, yeah, he loses his pawn. So, never mind. He can't take the pawn back yet. He pins my knight, avoiding the canceling the protection of that, or canceling an attacker of that pawn. Excuse me. And I protected, getting ready to castle, unpinning. And he plays f3, which was a blunder. F3 is played in other positions in this variation, but not in this particular line of the variation. So unfortunately, he gave me a full pawn, although he gets an active position. The computer says it's, well, a full pawn for black. So if I had, of course, a more accurate play, I would have probably won this game, but you have to understand that when you gambit a pawn, you have easier play, and black has to play more accurately. And so, a couple of inaccuracies add up and can either amount to a draw or even a loss, which in this case ended up losing. I castled, unpinning, threatening to take this with my knight. and he brought his bishop back, looking to threaten mates on h7 as soon as the queen comes in. And notice how all of white's pieces are active, even though he's down only a pawn. This bishop is ready to sack in case of h6s. This knight will jump into action soon. After he castles, he'll have very strong pressure on the f-file, and the position looks really good for white, even though he's about to lose this d4 pawn. For one pawn, his compensation is very great, but I'm not sure if giving up 2 pawns was good for him. I took it with the queen, although the computer says taking with the knight was better. After taking with the queen, he gained a tempo on my queen with bishop. e3, and you can notice his development is faster than mine. He's going to castle queenside, and his attack will get started. Just like my previous game with the Smith-Morra Gambits, except in this time I'm on the receiving end. Better would have been knight takes, queen h5, threatening mate, knight e7 f5, cancel, and c7 c6, establishing the knights on the d4 square. And it looks pretty safe for black. Although, what if, out of curiosity, why can't he just play that, try to threaten mate? Oh, because I have queen h4. So, this is pretty sharp stuff. I'm just barely avoiding the mate. Yeah, going back now. So I took the queen, which was an inferior move, and I played queen e5, pinning this, but that was a very inaccurate move, as he castled the next move, and so the pin proved to be, well, useless. Better would have been queen f6, trying to trade off the queens, even at the cost of double pawns, because I am, after all, 2 pawns up, and so if the queens got exchanged, my position will be much easier to play. So unfortunately, I played this very questionable move, and he castled queenside. The computer still says it's better for black, but only slightly. Yeah, it's only 0.2 of a pawn. So, and as a human rating would probably count this as better for white. White is much more active, much more active. And now I play knight f5, which was my original plan. With this bishop pinned, I wanted to pile up on the bishop. And my other plan was to stop him from going for mates, because if he played queen h5 before, I could of course take the e3 bishop. But I completely missed castling, which was not good on my part. And he played a good move, bishop f4. Very good move. Bringing all of his pieces into action. These rooks are about to bear down on the g-file, and, well, hopefully not the h-file for me. So things are looking very grim for me. And I decided to get a tempo on the queen, and I completely miscalculated. For some reason, I thought his queen would go back, and then I would move the knight out of the way. Or even play something. See, I was looking for something like this, and even before moving that out of the way, playing that move, freeing up this bishop, and play my continue knight c3 to e4, attacking the queen, queen there, bishop takes e5, and something like queen takes f2, and the computer says it's just about equal, even though he's down 2 pawns. So see, the power of a gambit is expressed here, because his pieces are much more coordinated than mine. These knights are kind of floating around. they look connected, but with this pawn here, this knight will soon have to move out of the way, and black will be slightly more passive than white. So I miscalculated, and another point, I guess, in this video is to look for all possibilities, and, well, double and triple check all of your moves, because this is an absolutely crushing move, and knight d4 proved to be the great blunder of the game. I played this just trying to shore up my king side, because after the g file is opened, the rook's going to be here, and after this position I resigned, because there are too many threats. The computer gives it to be just about 2 pawns for white. Yeah, best defense is that, which I actually considered, but it was mostly useless, because so bishop takes c7, he's just up a piece, and the rest of the game won't be very, very good for me. Just going back and seeing if I could have saved myself anywhere. Yes, right before this knight d5, I actually had a chance. The computer even says it's very slight advantage to black. The correct move would have been knight to d4, queen to e4, same idea, and queen to h4. Very sharp stuff. Yeah, that's very sharp. I could have also played that, with the position being just about equal. So this game shows the danger of accepting the danger of accepting a gambit pawn, and the trouble you can run into if you do, especially when you accept the second one. Especially in the French defense, white gets a very strong initiative, usually with this white bishop on this diagonal, the d3 to h7 diagonal, and, well, as in this game, black has to defend. So this will show me that for my future games I have to play more accurately and account for all moves, which I guess after playing blitz games for a couple weeks, I've unlearned to do. So hopefully I'll get back in the habit of playing longer games and really making more accurate moves. Thanks for your time. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please like it and subscribe on YouTube. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.